What you said about going rogue kind of being counterculture to who you have been historically, I think is something that people need to really lean into.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're thinking, like, how do I maintain this definition of myself that has been bold and big and bad and resilient, and to make space for a new definition of myself? I think that's very powerful. I do think that the world has also made us believe that we need to have a response to everything.
That part.
And I think that that's what makes us tired too. I actually spoke about this in the message. It's like, I have to care about everything.
Right.
Because it's all so heavy and all so dark. It's my responsibility as someone who wants to be present and to be active and engaged in bringing light and positivity in the world to chase every form of darkness. But I don't believe that I am anointed for every form of darkness. I don't. I know that there are certain elements of darkness that I have a light that I can carry into those spaces.
Yes.
There are other spaces that will extinguish my light.
Yes.
And so I have to be intentional about where I am called to carry light and where I'm not, so that I can preserve the light that I have.
That is why I started Birth Fund.
Yeah.
Because that was a time where the world felt so overwhelming with so many competing massive issues. And historically, I was that girl. I was commenting on this. I was commenting on that. I was jumping on to say something about this, that, and I have opinions.
Right.
But the cost, the toll, the energy, the drain. I mean, I was like, wait a minute. I cannot be effective or impactful trying to boil the ocean.
Right.
What I need to do is focus on the issue that was placed most deeply in my heart, that is part of my calling, that I see an opportunity to build a solution around, that I can meaningfully move the needle on, right? Not just be commenting on,
right?
But really, like, put my anchor down on this part of the ocean and focus on fixing this. And all of the energy and the anger and the rage and the hope and the joy, all of the energy that I have, let me invest it in the area that I am called and the people that I am called to serve here. And when I tell you, it has been the most fulfilling work that I've done, and it's created a clarifying container around what needs me and what doesn't need me, right? Like, I don't need to be speaking on everything. I don't need to be trying to fix everything. I cannot fix the world, but I can fix this corner of the world. Me and God, the way God uses me, the way that I get visions, the way I know how to rally and galvanize, but I can't do that when I'm not focused. I have to focus. And it's just been incredible. We're coming up on 2 years.
I was going to say, can you tell us what it is? Like, I know what it is, but
I know. So I started Birth Fund, which is a fund that has helped hundreds of families have safe, affirming birth care. I started it shortly after my experience being pregnant and realizing, even with someone, even for someone with influence and access and privilege and a network of people to tell me where to go and who the best doctors are, I could not find a doctor that made me feel safe against the backdrop of this surging maternal mortality crisis that over-indexes that Black women are disproportionately impacted, dying at 3 to 4 times the rate. And I think you hear those statistics and it's easy for you to feel like they're just statistics and that they don't have anything to do with you until you're the one sitting in those seats in front of those doctors and understanding for the first time how it happens, how you become a statistic. And I felt that. I went through multiple doctors. It was a harrowing and scary experience for me. And I ended up in the hands of midwives, Black midwives. And I learned, I really started to understand the history of midwifery and the evidence-backed, the data-backed model that actually saves lives. And I put on my journalist hat when I was in this in this quest to find good care. And I found that 80% of these deaths can be avoided with midwifery care. And by the way, midwifery care is not covered by insurance in this country, but it is covered. It is the default birth care model in every other wealthy country in the world, who, by the way, all have much better outcomes, birth outcomes than we do in America, even though we are considered the richest country in the world and we have all these advancements in technology. But by and large, women who are giving birth are not making it, or they're coming through with birth trauma that is avoidable.
Yeah.
And so I identified like midwifery is a solution, a known solution that we can be investing in, that we can be galvanizing support around. Why are we not doing that? Because most people don't know. And so if there's one thing I can do, is I can help people understand and learn about something that I'm passionate about. And I was just like, I know too many powerful, influential, change-making, trailblazing women that if they knew this, let's go. We could solve this at least for these women who, right? I just kept thinking there was an urgency around building this, because I was like, I can sit on this call and I can doubt myself and think like, oh, maternal health, God, people don't care about women's health. People don't care about maternal health. Like for me, I think people are so used to seeing me in this like shiny media fashion space. Like, is it going to make sense to people? Like I had my doubts about it. But I'm like, as I'm sitting here on this call on my life that could save lives, there are women who are pregnant now who need this support.
Yeah.
Like there's a clock ticking on me, on my obedience.
Oof.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because this is not about me, actually.
Right.
And it's not about what people are going to think. This is about saving and changing lives. Let's go. Are we doing this? Or are we not doing? I really felt God being like, are we doing this or nah? You're the one. I'm calling you to bring all of your storytelling skills, everything, all the connections I've given you to build this solution. And so I did. And it's been one of the best things I've ever done. And it really is, it's not a pivot, it's a culmination of everything that I've done. And the beauty is, I mean, hundreds of families, hundreds of babies have been born to our fund in just under 2 years. And what's beautiful from a career perspective, and people who are navigating pivots or new chapters, or, you know, God's calling me to do this, but I have doubts. And what does it mean about all this other stuff that I want to do? God makes room. He makes room for it all. Like, he's not going to call you over here and decrease your territory. He's going to reward you by expanding your territory. But I do think it's important that a movement moves without you.
Yes.
And so, but it takes a lot of groundwork to get it to that place where it can. But here I am. I'm just like, I'm still doing all the other things.
Yeah.
I'm still doing television. I'm writing my second book. I just put out my eyewear collab.
Come on, somebody.
That I've been manifesting for like I've been manifesting this since Teen Vogue. I've been like, glasses have been my thing. So the beauty is, I say all this to say, I'm not just trying to flex, but I think that there is a universul takeaway from that experience of, it might not be maternal health for you. It might not be, you know, I don't know what it is for you, but we are all called to do something to change the world. We're not called to do everything.
Yeah.
But we're called to do something. And I think getting really still and quiet and listening, and then being obedient when that call comes, will only make more space for you. You will only be rewarded. And I wish that somebody told me that. You know what I mean? Earlier, I wish that I had that kind of encouragement in my ear, rather than the voices that were in my head at the time. You know what I mean?